The Indian aviation industry is probably today one of the most exciting places on the globe to be in. It's expanding rapidly, both in the domestic environment as well as in the international environment. As much as the industry is in a high growth phase, we must remember it's heavily nuanced, and it's just not about just deploying capacity. The market is diverse, it's scattered, and a lot of in-depth knowledge is needed to operate successfully in this market.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us this evening. TravelBiz Monitor is in conversation with an old hand at Indian aviation who has dabbled across various segments in the industry, from logistics to GDS and even Indian hospitality. We have with us today Mr. JB Singh, Director, InterGlobe Air Transport, sharing his insights. He is going to shed some light on InterGlobe Air Transport's current vision, challenges and opportunities in this market at a time when the aviation landscape is changing completely. Tell me something, how is InterGlobe Air Transport adapting its strategy at a time when the aviation industry in India is going through a major change and there is intense competition in the air?
So, the Indian aviation industry is probably today one of the most exciting places on the globe to be in. It's expanding rapidly, both in the domestic environment as well as in the international environment. As much as the industry is in a high growth phase, we must remember it's heavily nuanced, and it's just not about just deploying capacity, as quite often people tend to believe. The market is diverse, it's scattered, and a lot of in-depth knowledge is needed to operate successfully in this market. Whether it is from a point of distribution channels, consumer behavior, or just entry strategies that airlines would think of. We've been around for a very long time. We've been around for 40 years. In fact, for us as a group, this was the first company that was established by Mr. Kapil Bhatia at that time. And then we continued to grow over 40 years into being the premier airline distribution company, GSA company in the country. And then, of course, that spawned off several businesses, as you know. But what that has done for us is that we have been, other than a good traditional GSA with all the right constructs of ethics and compliance, we've been a formidable growth partner, an entry partner for airlines seeking to come into India. And over the years, establishing large carriers in India over the last 40 years, it has given us enormous amount of competence within the organization, reach across the country to become absolutely solid as far as this business is concerned. We have in-depth knowledge of the industry. We have in-depth relationships in the industry. Most importantly, I think what differentiates us from a lot of organizations is our global standards that we adhere to all the time. And those global standards ensure that we in India give to all carriers coming here an absolute gold standard, operating standards in the company, making sure that the brand stewardship is absolutely solid and the airline is fully compliant.
What unique value does InterGlobe Air Transport offer international airlines foraying into India that separates it from its peers?
Yeah, actually there are several, but if I have to just think very quickly, one clearly is 40 years of solid pedigree in the industry. And like I said, over 40 years, we've gone and established some of the top airlines across the country, across the world. So that's one. So our experience, our network, our stakeholder management across the country is absolutely formidable. And it gets backed by a lot of ethics and trust, which I'll come back to later. So I think that's fundamental. Strong pedigree, lots of experience, lots of critical talent within the organization. So that's one. Second, based on the experience that we have and the operating standards that IGAT brings to our partners, we actually become an extension of the commercial arm. And in cases where they need operating help, we become an extension of the operating now. And where they need help with regulatory affairs, we become an extension and represent them in the right forums, at the right industry forums, the right government forums, wherever needed. And that's very, very important, because when carriers have worked with us, that ability to trust us and at the same time experience what IGAT brings to them becomes actually very, very powerful, which leads me to trust and integrity. Our internal operating standards are very high. Our code of ethics are very high. Integrity is one of our 3 values, and it gets practiced at every level across the system. Now, what that does, it gives carriers and our partners a lot of trust. When they empower us with the business, they know it's going to get run exactly the way global standards are. So that's really, really important. And finally, there's transparency. There's a huge amount of transparency in our operating. All our executives working in the company come with massive amount of world-class airline experience. Our own internal training standards are very high. Our own reporting standards are very high. Our own compliance structures within our organization are very high. And that's all very transparent and is available for all carriers to experience, to ask questions, and to sort of make sure that it gives them the comfort that the businesses are run very, very solidly. And what all this ultimately does, it gives companies and carriers and our partners operating with us a lot of stability, because we ourselves as an organization operate with a very long-term view, and we keep investing into the future. Our shareholders, our professional teams constantly keep looking out 3 years, 5 years on what's coming out of the gate, and that gives stability to the airlines, who themselves are having a long-term view within the industry.
How is InterGlobe Air Transport enhancing its offerings by using digital transformation such as AI, big data, or automation for airline representation and customer engagement?
Yeah, today technology and AI is no longer an option. So we've been working with tech platforms for quite a while. In fact, we have been using a lot of technology and data analytics to monitor route trends, pricing trends, even to an extent of consumer behavior. So when we work with airline partners, we work with them and we analyze how routes are behaving and how demand is shaping up. And that's something that we've been sharpening over time. There's a lot of work that goes on internally as well, as far as tech is concerned. All our internal reportings, our pricing formats, and what this does when it ultimately actually comes together, it allows our teams to make informed decisions in whatever they're doing. So we are pretty adept over there. We are well structured over there, but that space is also evolving, and we're actually keeping a very, very close watch on it. In fact, at a group level, we've got a new company that started called INOS, and they are specifically on the AI side, and they're working with very large organizations across the globe, deploying AI tools on existing data sources, so data can become very useful information, and then information that can forecast and predict. And that's an in-house company at InterGlobe, and that makes it, sort of very, very sort of valuable for us to use, people from within the organization who have massive experience in using AI and AI tools. So it's a progressive area. I think at a group level, we are heavily invested on AI side, on the tech side. Like I said, even in the back of the house, if we were to take our corporate governance tool, it's fully driven by tech, and it's this technology and this platform that tells us, what are sort of rules that we have to adhere to if anything is expiring, if anything needs to be done, if anything needs to be filed. And it goes down to the detail of even the smallest events that we have to cater for that are regulatory in nature. So, frankly, technology and AI is very deeply embedded uh, in InterGlobe Air Transport and across all our companies, and is something that will become absolutely superior as we keep growing with time, because we have in-house capability to keep building that. So we are heavily investing.
Okay, interesting. JB, tell me, what are the opportunities and challenges do you see for the next 5 years for Interglobe Air Transport, considering the aviation landscape in India is seeing a surge in LCC carriers and the global travel dynamic is also changing?
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, uh, it's just so exciting right now. Uh, the economy is growing. As the economy grows, travel is growing. I mean, we all know India is going to become one of the largest outbound travel markets in the world. Domestic travel itself is growing exponentially. There's a huge amount of capacity that's coming within the domestic market. So there's huge amount of opportunities, not just from the big cities that everything was concentrated for in the past, and we've seen this in the last couple of years. The secondary markets have got a huge surge in travel. In the beginning, it would start off as labor movements that were going to the usual markets around the country, but now leisure has taken off in a big way over the last years, and that's new. And that's new for that's new for the industry. And sometimes one does see that the industry may not have been prepared for that. But that's where we come in, because over the years we have established a massive distribution network across the country. And we saw this coming, and we have been adequately positioned in all these secondary tier 2, tier 3 markets. Now that creates opportunities not just to drive travel out of those markets, but also creates opportunities for international carriers to understand these source markets and how we can drive volumes from these source markets onto their network. So that's a massive opportunity out there. And we give continuous guidance to all our airline partners, new and the ones who are today engaging with us and are going to be establishing themselves, on how we can build this whole sort of funnel this traffic, through alliances within the country, then multiple domestic carriers, and feed markets beyond the metros.
Yes.
So that's a space that will grow. So that's one. LCCs will continue to grow, and they will continue to bring in large volumes, large capacity, put pressure on pricing. But that's how this business runs. And we've been at it for 40 years, and we've seen this all the time. I think the tech that we have, the market intelligence that we have, and our in-depth reach into distribution channels, multi-source markets, understanding how the leisure space operates, understand how the corporate space operates, the entire MICE segment, wellness segment, we understand all of that. We use that intelligence to guide our partners on how they should be conducting the business, how the sales strategies will be successful in the country. Capacity is another thing. I think today the government is expanding airport capacity, which is a great thing. How these new capacities get taken up and how business transitions from one airport to another airport is something that's also going to be very, very interesting, and again will create new opportunities, new hubs, new business districts around them, like you see around in Navi Mumbai. That whole area will become a massive opportunity as that airport matures, and so will, let's say, in Jewar and so on and so forth. So we see new routes, new source markets, new hubs, new terminals, a lot of opportunity, new routes, new destinations. That's a big one, and today we urge carriers to not just promote the carrier themselves, but we need to market destinations. We need to look at products in those destinations and how that would enhance the deliverables to the carrier to make sure that their destination, not just the hub, but their destination is also good.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Mr. Singh, for speaking to us, and it was a pleasure understanding your role and your vision for InterGlobe Air Transport. All the best for the coming years.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's an interesting insight from Mr. Singh, and I'm sure you guys are more enlightened today. Thank you for watching us.